Hello and welcome to The Legend of Zelda, the first one for NES. So, I feel like it's been a while since we've done preambles for LPs, but I don't feel like I need to add one for this because it's Zelda 1, there's a lot of traveling around, so I feel like there's a lot of time to talk about the series in general, and this quote-unquote Gannon.
We really need to emphasize some parts of this opening scroll. Got it, we'll change the color of the text. I just don't think it's enough, though.
And here's all of treasures. You know, if you think about it, food really is a treasure.
Boomerang, magical boomerang, fucking Darren, the cooler Darren ass.
Yeah, we've got a lot of items and their recolors, and a croissant.
Damn, it beat me to it. Okay, look at that book. That is the most fucked up book.
It's very fucked up, but I was paying attention to the magical key, because that's a very adorable key. Alright, so yeah, we've seen the opening text, so now we can just start this completely normal iteration of The Legend of Zelda. With, of course, everybody's favorite character. You know her, you love her. It's Lyn. Alright, and now perhaps one of the most iconic openings, in which you just enter a cave and an old man's like, hey, have a sword. And now we have a sword. So, Zelda 1 is, of course, a very open game. It really does expect you to do a lot of your own exploration, which, you know, is a little unusual if you've played any other Zelda game, barring maybe the second one. The other Zelda games typically have some amount of help for you, like, say, an overworld map that is more than just your relative location in the overall planet.
Yeah, they don't even have, like, a grid.
Nope. You either have to make the map yourself, or if you're a modern player, you just go to VG Maps and you just open the thing up and just kind of figure out where you need to go. Where you'll probably go first is this dungeon.
Or hope that the secondhand copy you bought still has the map in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's ye old copy protection. They don't ask you any particular questions in this, but you will get very lost if you don't have the original box and everything that came with it. So this is our first dungeon. As a note, definitely a thing that's different from this game, from the rest of the series, is the fact that keys are not localized to a single dungeon. You can, in fact, bring keys from one dungeon to another, or run out of keys in a dungeon and have to leave and buy some elsewhere. This is very much a game where you kinda need to know what you're doing. It's very important. Also, definitely worth noting is that we did not start with a sword, but we do start with a shield that can deflect small projectiles based on where you're standing. The shield is more or less relative to a certain spot, so you cannot block projectiles with your entire face. It does have to be where the shield is, which is more meaningful if you're up or down, since that is when it is in a particular spot in relation to your sprites.
It's also rare to start with a sword that can do this beam attack.
Oh yeah, so, as long as you have full hearts, you are able to shoot a sword beam, and given my usual goal for most games. We'll be seeing the sword beam forever. Eastmost Peninsula is the secret. Write that down.
I just watched a video about that clue and how esoteric it is, and now we're still not 100% sure what it's even talking about.
There are a lot of esoteric clues in this game, some of which you might figure out, and yeah, some of which you might not. There are Eastern Peninsulas with items connected to them, or whatever have you. But yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard to nail down specific things. We also picked up the map, which means we are at least allowed to see the grid of this area. This is referred to as the bird dungeon because it kind of looks like a bird a little bit.
I said it looks like a genie's lamp.
Also, those enemies do throw boomerangs, so be careful, cause we don't have boomerangs yet. The spike traps will also just charge at you when you are on the same level as them. Also, yeah, we have these weird 2D sections.
I think you mean weird side-scrolling sections. The whole game is a 2D section.
Yeah, just normally overhead instead of side-scrolling. So, Sword Beam is definitely a very helpful tool, because being near anything in this game really kinda sucks. You're just asking to get hit if you are near things. So, just starting with the ability to not have to do that is very useful. I say all this because I did just pick up the bow, but it is currently useless until we go buy arrows, so, we still only have one ranged option.
Yeah, this game's real fucking hard.
Oh yeah. I think if you're a fan of action or adventure games in this style, most of them are a little kinder than Zelda 1.
This was very much an era of video games where, like, you bought a game and there was a very good chance you were never going to see the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, bought. More likely if you rented the game. And then next week at Blockbuster you just go, man, fuck this game, I don't want to play it anymore.
Or it becomes your entire obsession for some amount of time. It could go in either direction.
Yeah. As expensive as games were, if you bought a game, you were playing that goddamn thing to the end.
Mm-hmm. Also, if you don't want to waste a key, you can waste a bomb instead to get through here. And voila! So, oh god, thank you, iframes. Not every room has an item necessarily, but you do usually want to kill everything in a room just in case it has something. Like this boomerang. Now we have one of our own. It stuns enemies. Also, yeah, we've already got Wall Masters. But yeah, boomerang's good for getting enemies to not attack you for a second or so. And yeah, these are Wall Masters. If they grab you, they take you back to the beginning of dungeon. They're just as terrifying here as they are in just about any other iteration.
Whoa.
Anyway, here's just a dragon. He's dead now. Yeah, so, bosses are pretty simple. This particular dragon is called Aquamentus. He's just kind of a dragon-ass dragon.
I love how some bosses from this game are just part of the lore forever, and others are just not seen again outside of Oracle of Seasons. Because Oracle of Seasons use a lot of Zelda 1 bosses for some reason.
It's called being a callback. Sometimes Nintendo just does that.
Well, I can't remember where I read this, but I have read that originally Capcom was hired to make a port/remake of the first Zelda game for Game Boy Color.
Yeah, that's one of those things where, like, I'm not 100% sure on that, so I don't want to say with complete confidence, but, like, you could definitely look at that game and think, yeah, that makes sense. I can see that some leftovers from that kind of project.
Anyways, this is Death Mountain, right?
Sort of. There is a specific region that is more Death Mountain, but it is more or less Death Mountain.
There are Tektites here. This is Death Mountain. That is how you can tell whether or not a given place is or is not Death Mountain.
Make sure to pick this heart or you're shooting yourself in the foot. The other thing is just a healing item. This is permanent HP.
That's insane!
Zelda 1 is a video game that you can play.
That's fucking wild.
So if you're wondering, I don't have any, like, known route as far as I know. I basically just took a map with items on it and tried to make a relatively efficient route, which, you know, is probably not the best route through this game. A lot of people will beeline for the better sword of the game, and that's a good idea, because we don't do a lot of damage. There are 2 better swords overall, but there is one that you can reach without too much hassle that I probably could have just gone for, but I didn't, because I want to keep, like, a decent clean route. Won't be perfect, but, you know, I'll get everything worthy of notes.
Also, I know Moblins tend to lean more towards being pig-like in later games, but originally they were supposed to be bulldog-like, and I can really see it now that I know that. They got bulldog faces, not pig faces.
Yeah, a lot of the Moblin designs, if I remember correctly, are kind of based on, like, orcs, or at the very least Gannon as well. Very, very much old D&D orc designs is kind of what you're looking for, or looking at in this game.
Might not have meant to do that. That didn't unlock anything this time.
No, that guy was just a jerk. Alright, so we've got level 2 here. So, also worth noting is that there is something referred to as Master Quest, which is sort of a new game remix, I guess, is the best way to put it. I'm not going to be covering that, so I'll just mention it every once in a while. It basically throws a bunch of the items around the map, so things will be in different places, like the bow we got earlier. So, it's a completely different experience, just by shifting things around.
Yeah, because when I think of the first Legend of Zelda, I always think, man, I wish this was harder.
Yeah, what if nothing is like what I remember? And there you go. But yeah, I'm not going to be doing Master Quest, but I will be mentioning that it does change the dungeon layouts as well. So the first dungeon goes from kind of a bird to an E. We won't see what this one looks like just yet until we get the map. That's not the map, that's the compass. That will just place things on the map. Now we know where the piece of the Triforce is. Not gonna help us that much in terms of actual navigation, but the map's right here, so yeah, this is kind of a crescent moon looking place. Or maybe it looks like our boomerang, or maybe it looks like that croissant from the intro. Could be a lot of things, but it is definitely an A in the second quest version. Oh god, these guys. Okay, so yeah, this is one of the reasons that I really wish I had the better sword, because these guys are just jerks. They've got a lot of HP, they throw that boomerang pretty quickly, and they're in a room that shoots you every once in a while. I had so many screw-ups in this room, because it's very difficult.
Yeah, I hate any room with obstacles like this. I have no idea how you're avoiding all of these.
Repeated practice. This one took a hot minute.
Are you gonna go through any normal doors, or are you just blowing up every wall in this dungeon?
Oh, I'm doing my best to go through walls. Bombs are a slightly easier resource for me to farm, I found, because, as we'll eventually find out, there is a guaranteed drop of bombs. So, I kind of just want to keep these because I'm very paranoid about keys. Just in general. Dodongo dislikes smoke.
Famous quote. So you're gonna draw attention to the shape of every dungeon, or...
I know exactly why you're asking that, and yeah, that's gonna have to come up at some point. Some dungeon shapes aged very poorly.
I hesitate to say aged, because it was, the 80s. It was already a bad symbol for 40 years by that point.
Yeah, it was a thing. Yeah.
But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Burn that bridge when we get to it.
I love that one of the enemies is just the angriest snakes in the world.
Mm-hmm. Ah, that's a rope. They're just mad. So one pickup item that I have neglected to mention is the clock item, which basically freezes enemies in place for a little bit. It can be useful, but I feel like half the time you ever pick it up, even though it does have a time limit, it automatically stops when you enter a different room, like right here. You're gonna pick it up, and it's gone. It's just already gone, so it was completely useless. It feels like it's spitefully placed sometimes. Also, one thing that is kind of cool for the atmosphere of a dungeon, the music is already pretty good at making everything feel kind of spooky, but when you're outside of a boss room, you also hear roars, which is kind of cool. And in this instance, the roar belongs to Dodongo, who doesn't like smoke, which means he doesn't like having his stomach pumped full of bombs, which, relatable. Alright, so that's 2 dungeons down. Next time on The Legend of Zelda, the completely normal edition, we'll tackle the next 2.
And maybe we'll get an explanation for why there are all these statues where half of them are happy and half of them are sad.